Hey guys, I wanted to give an update on Nova Pool as it's been performing the best in terms of if you're looking at the passive income space and the platforms that I've been involved with, it's performing the best, and it's been pretty consistently over 1%, anywhere between 1.2 to 1.5%, somewhere in that range. So the Bitcoin, the Ethereum, and now the new TUSD pools are offerings by the Nova Pool. Pretty soon they're going to be having the loyalty pool that's going to be coming out here very shortly. And it's going to be basically the transition from the older Rex platform, which is now not as profitable as it once was, and was essentially like a Nova printing machine, and the kind of the way that it was structured. And we've seen with a lot of these types of passive income earning platforms, when a lot of them are putting their profits into the token, that doesn't really play out as well and can have a lot of issues over time. So now it looks like they are moving on to now this loyalty pool, which will have the opportunity to transition your Rex capital into that pool. But right now, the Nova Pool, the T-Rex Nova Pool, has just been doing phenomenally well. I've got several of my friends that are really starting to collect and compound and wanting to get more invested into the Nova Pool. It seems to be, at least right now, the one of the top places in terms of passive income in crypto. So I think the focus with Nova Chain right now is number one, the Nova Pool, and kind of devising a little bit of a strategy. All three of the Bitcoin, Ethereum, and TUSD seem to be paying out roughly the same, but I think that's the biggest opportunity. Once the loyalty pool comes out, that's going to be the next big opportunity. It'll be interesting to see how that performs with some of the other ones in comparison to Rex. One of the things that people have been saying is, now that we're seeing the price rise of Nova Chain getting almost close to parity with the Rex payout, that's also presenting a little bit of an intriguing opportunity. Is basically you're seeing a little bit of a resurgence of Rex. However, I still, the loyalty pool is where Nova Chain is really kind of focusing, as that's going to be the way that people will be able to transition out of Rex into the loyalty pool, as the payouts in Rex have not been as good. There's definitely opportunity in T-Rex, and I think that there's also some opportunity to invest in Novabox if you're looking at this a little bit more long term. If you're going to invest in Novabox, you really have to have the idea that you're going in for at least 6 months, and to make it profitable, because of the 11% fees that you're paying once you go into the Novabox, and the way that these contracts work. Not as much opportunity in Novabox, but I think it adds a little bit more legitimacy to everything that's kind of going on. Like it really kind of shows how it's a decentralized application that is utilizing Nova and Ethereum in this ecosystem. It's just kind of another application that integrates with the Nova Chain platform. So something to consider. But as far as the pools, the T-Rex pool is just right now has been kind of the number one passive income earning platform in this space. And so I think that this is a good way to earn a little bit of passive income, and use that for other things that you might be looking to get into, whether it's the one thing I've recently getting into is leverage trading, or simply hodling. There's a few different aspects to hodling. Some of these platforms are a little bit intriguing, because if you're looking to hodl in, say, Bitcoin, Ethereum, or even Nova tokens, this gives you an option to actually earn a little bit of dividends by hodling. Probably one of the best features about the Nova Pool is that it's keeping your value in the particular token. So whether it's Bitcoin or Ethereum or even TUSD, but like as we've seen Bitcoin just recently cross over 13,500. You're not necessarily missing out on some of those gains by having some of your value in the tokens, and you're maybe trading on some other exchanges or playing the market a little bit. You're keeping your value in Bitcoin, in Ethereum, and so as we're seeing basically the capital coming back into the markets, and we're seeing a kind of a revival this next bull run. You're not having your funds held hostage like some of the other platforms. Like, you actually have access to your funds, and they're being held in crypto. You're getting paid out in the same way, and you have the ability to pull out after given time if that's what you're choosing to do. So those are 5 really good options with NovaChain right now. And there's also the if you want to trade and kind of day trade the token on the exchange, there's not as much volume right now, but there's a little bit of a spread in price. So by buying low, selling high on the internal exchange, there's opportunity to earn more Nova tokens there as well. Another thing to keep in mind is back in November, December, NovaChain's price was 10 times what it is now in terms of its Ethereum price, which was roughly between $1 and $1.50. With a lot of the fluctuations that we were having during those times, there was some massive sell-offs in the market as a whole, which really kind of impacted everything. So the Nova token seems to be transitioning more to a utility token, one that's going to be used as reserve currency for the Nova pools, for fees, for some of the other later developments that they're going to be unveiling. But one of the things that is encouraging to see right now is the Nova token price has been steadily increasing, and part of that is because there's less and less Nova that's kind of in the ecosystem. A lot of that's getting eaten up and being reserved. So there's opportunity for the Nova token to 10x in value because we've seen it in its recent history. So I think that there's opportunity in holding in the token. I think there's definitely opportunity in the pool. And if you want to get more into T-Rex, like that's a little bit more technical. If you want to play around with some of those bots, again, like I didn't have as much success, with that, but I also wasn't spending as much time really trying to tweak it, and also kind of had the situation with Binance, and now with Binance going out of their way to block U.S. investors or anyone with a U.S. passport, that's going to, present some challenges for people that are going to be wanting to get into that for U.S. residents. Another good feature that I've invested in was the Nova Box, which has been, kind of roughly about the 50th largest dApp in the Ethereum ecosystem. So it's getting, roughly about 20 daily active users a day. It hasn't been as active lately. It was something that was very active when it first came out, and it's a little bit kind of technical to fully understand. So I think I'll do a little bit of an overview on that. I was having some issues, which I just recently kind of figured out. There seems to be some issues, at least with Firefox, with the way that it's reading the contract. It was having some issues. It wasn't having it before, but then when I started kind of doing some things and playing around with it, it wasn't acting right. So I was going back and forth with support on this one and a few of the other guys with the NovaChain team. But it seemed to kind of correct itself once I moved everything over to Chrome, which, I'm kind of anti-Chrome. I try to stay away from Chrome, but I just tried it out for this particular feature to see if it would correct the problem, and it did. So that's something you may want to try for those of you guys that are getting into NovaBox. NovaBox is kind of one way to passively earn Nova tokens. So I mean, there's a lot of different things to look at here. You can passively earn Bitcoin, Ethereum, TUSD. And Nova tokens in the Nova box, though you're not getting like 1% or anything like that, like some of the other pools. But if you're looking to kind of speculate on the price, or you just want to hold tokens for the long term, it's something to consider. It is a long-term investment because of basically the 11%. So the way that it works is it's tied also with Ethereum. You have to have Nova and Ethereum in the Nova box. So I think Nova box is a good way to diversify. It's not going to be earning you the same type of dividends that you'd be getting in the pool or a few of the other Nova chain products. However, it is a good way to earn a little bit of passive income by holding in Nova and Ethereum. One of my strategies is basically gives you a contribution in terms of how that is valued with everyone that's in the contract. And my strategy was to get to 1%. I wanted to be in the 1% one percentile of Nova chain token holders in the Nova box, as well as Ethereum. When you're in the 1% of the Nova box, you will start to see a little bit of the dividends. If you're kind of under that 1% threshold, you're not going to be earning as much, but you're still earning a little bit, and you can track all of that stuff on the blockchain. The pool plans right now are very short term, whether it's 10 days or 30 days. I think one of the initial things that we're kind of see from that, I think people can trust in that this is not going to be something that's going to be going away in the next 30 days. It's also having a great impact on the Nova token price. So people speculating on the price of the token. There's a lot of potential in the value in an increase in valuation with the token price. So my plans that I've invested into Nova Pool are going to be expiring, in roughly like 10 days or so. I think I got into like the 30-day plan. So you're going to have the opportunity to get your capital back, to decide whether you want to reinvest, and there's a few different strategies there. I plan to just kind of keep on compounding it for some time. And just kind of seeing where it goes. I left the link to the Telegram group below for those of you guys that are wanting to get a little bit more involved with the community, maybe get some other questions answered. I encourage you guys to check that out. Let me know what you guys think about some of the new offerings by NovaChain in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys on the next one.